Section 1.9, Amazon Aurora is a fully managed AWS service. In this short section, I'll review what it means to be an AWS fully managed service. Remember this guy? Yeah, we'll be talking about why he's so relaxed and stress-free. The benefits of being an AWS fully managed service are listed in the right circle and include, starting at the lower right yellow rectangle, these are things you might take for granted using a cloud service, but power, HVAC, which is ventilation, and the network are things you have to manage yourself if you're hosting on premises and add up to significant costs. Moving to the left to the blue rectangle in the circle, racking and stacking of servers is a tough job and never-ending. So is server maintenance, and these services and purchases add up fast and use a lot of personnel to do the job. Moving to the right gray rectangle in the circle, operating system installations and patching and ensuring everything runs smoothly is very time-consuming, and perhaps the patching never gets done because you're so busy taking care of everything else, which eventually leads to big problems. Moving across the circle to the green rectangle, database software installations, database software patching, and database backups consume a lot of a DBA's time. Because they're so busy again, the patches and backups might not be high on the priority list, which leads to potentially really big problems. Moving to the top orange rectangle in the circle, Amazon Web Services' high availability and scalability is managed for you, and what a job doing those tasks yourself is. Now, look at the purple rectangle on the left. All you have to do is be concerned your application is optimized, and the rest of the time you can innovate, grow your business, or take a vacation. This concludes Section 1.9. Amazon Aurora is a fully managed AWS service. Coming up next is the last section of 1.0, the overview of Amazon Aurora, which is Section 1.10, Amazon Aurora's low cost. In this last section, I'll cover Amazon Aurora's low cost. There's no licenses needed, as you'd need to have for an enterprise-grade relational database management system of similar performance. There's no upfront commitment, there's no minimum fee, and there's no need to over-provision storage because Amazon Aurora auto-scales storage based on your application need. First, I'll explain Amazon Web Services OnDemand Pricing. When you see either of these two buttons, do you just click on them to launch your database instance? If you do, you are launching a database instance with what is called on-demand pricing. On-demand instances give you the first of the three statements made on the previous slide. You don't need any software licenses, there's no upfront commitment, there's no minimum fee, and of course, with Amazon Aurora, the fourth statement about not needing to over-provision storage still holds true. On-demand instances let you pay by the hour with no long-term commitments or upfront fees. It's plain and simply pay as you go by the hour. It's ideal for development, testing, innovation, and other short-term workloads. On-demand instance pricing applies to both primary instances used for read and write workloads and replicas used to scale reads and enhance failover. Amazon RDS's multi-availability zone technology is used to failover to one of your replicas if an outage occurs. The cost of multi-availability zone deployments is the cost of the primary instance plus the cost of each replica. To maximize availability, it's recommended to place at least one replica in a different availability zone from the primary instance. Pricing is based on instance size and the region your instance is deployed in. As of September 2016, pricing in the U.S. East, North Virginia region is shown in the screenshot to the right. There isn't much of a difference if you change your region from U.S. East to U.S. West, but you do start to see a rise in pricing if you deploy in one of the many Asia-Pacific regions, such as you see here now for Mumbai. Now I'll go over Amazon Aurora's reserved instance pricing. Reserved instances are appropriate for steady-state database workloads. They cost about 45% less for a 1-year reserved instance and about 66% less for a 3-year reserved instance. You commit to the entire duration of the reserved instance term and are billed for each hour regardless of whether any usage occurred or not. Pricing again is based on instance size and the region it's deployed in. As an example, I chose to show the middle of the road insofar as an instance type is concerned, a DB R3 2X large instance in the U.S. East North Virginia region. You can see in the screenshot to the right, you have 3 payment options for 1-year reserved instances, highlighted in orange: no upfront, partial upfront, or all upfront. For a 3-year reserved instance, no upfront isn't an option. You can also see the monthly price is reduced if you do pay some money up front. Doing the math, even without paying anything up front, there's an hourly savings of 40 cents, which adds up fast. There might be some misconceptions on instance pricing. Sometimes when people look at the relational database management system pricing structure, they think what they see on the previous slide is the whole enchilada. It's not. This can cause a lot of confusion and frustration if you're new to cloud computing. Let's overview the 4 other costs associated with running a relational database in the cloud. First, there's database storage and input-output costs. The screenshot shown here is for the U.S. East North Virginia region. Storage consumed by your Amazon Aurora database is billed in per gigabyte month increments, and IOs consumed are billed in per million request increments. They're minimal, but you need to know about it. Backup storage is the storage associated with your automated database backups and any user-initiated database snapshots you've taken. Increasing your backup retention period, seen in the center screenshot, or taking a database snapshot may increase the backup storage consumed by your database. There's no additional charge for backup storage up to 100% of your consumed database storage for an active database instance. Beyond that amount, and for backups stored after your database instance is terminated, are billed at standard Amazon S3 rates. If you'd like more information on standard S3 rates, view the URL at the bottom of the screen. You're also charged for data in or ingress and data out or egress. Pricing again varies by region, and if data is transferred in or out, and for out, where to and how much data is transferred. In the screenshot to the right, you'll see the charges as of September 2016 for the U.S. East North Virginia region. Note, data transferred between Amazon RDS and Amazon EC2 in the same availability zone is free, and so is data transferred between availability zones for replication in multi-availability zone deployments. For a comprehensive list of charges, visit the link at the bottom of the screen. Again, these are very low costs, but you do need to know about them. The last topic I'm going to cover in video 1.0 is something I think you'll really benefit from knowing about. Amazon Web Services Simple Monthly Calculator. In the next few screens, I'll show you just how low-priced Amazon Aurora is compared to SQL Server Enterprise. However, on this screen, let me explain the various parts of the user interface so you'll be better able to follow along when we're comparing pricing. Notice on the left side in the menu, Amazon RDS is chosen, highlighted in orange. This calculator can be used with most, if not all, AWS services. The first part I'd like to show you is right below the blue Amazon RDS icon, and it's a section with a red circle with the heading Amazon RDS OnDemand DB Instance. That's the main part we'll be working with, so let me first go from left to right explaining each section in that table. The first column, without a red rectangle, is for a description name. Normally, I use what type of engine I'm checking pricing on, but it has no significance other than for reference, so you can describe it however you'd like. To the right of that column is a column that reads DB instances. This is to enter how many instances you're checking pricing for. To the right of that column is a column that reads usage. There's a text box where you enter either a percentage of time that the server will be running, and the drop-down list gives you the option for percent utilized monthly, which would be used if you're entering a percentage in the text box. The other option for the text box is to put how many hours, and then the choices from the drop-down are either hours a day, hours a week, or hours a month. If you leave it at the default 100% utilized per month, you get the price for the month if you left the server running the entire month. To the right of that is a column that reads DB engine and license. The drop-down menu has all Amazon RDS options available. To the right of that is a column that reads class and deployment. The top drop-down is where you choose your instance type, and the lower drop-down gives you a choice of either standard, single availability zone, or multi-availability zone deployments. To the right of that is a column that reads storage, where the top drop-down gives you the option of general purpose SSD, provisioned IOPS SSD, or magnetic storage, if those are options for the database engine you chose. Under the drop-down is a text box where you put how many gigabytes you want to associate with this storage. Every option is based on the type of database engine you choose. To the right of that column is a column that reads I/O for I/O rate, where you'd enter how many million requests per month you'd like the estimate for. Notice that you can add more rows to this table by clicking the green encircled plus sign in the next row. Once you're done with the configurations, you see the estimate of your monthly bill shown to the right of the dark tan Services tab near the top. Notice there's a drop-down list to choose what region you'll be deploying in. The remainder of this page I'm going to leave alone for demonstration purposes, but the next three sections are the following. Directly under the Amazon RDS On-Demand Database Instances table is another table with the heading Additional Backup Storage with a comment about how much backup storage is free. Underneath that is another table entitled Amazon RDS Reserved Instance Database Instances to get an estimate for any reserved instances you'll be deploying. And underneath that are line items that allow you to configure various data transfer options. Let's look at the monthly estimate of running SQL Server Enterprise on a DB R3 2X large instance. Notice in the screenshot, the red rectangle shows the database engine chosen is SQL Server Enterprise. The only license option is included for this version. Notice the highlighted instance type, DB R3 2X large, the smallest instance size possible. The storage size is 20 gigabytes, the smallest size for this type of database engine. Everything else was left as defaults. In the purple rectangle, you'll notice the estimate of your monthly bill is $18,957.57. That would be an estimated annual cost of $227,490.84. Now let's look at the monthly estimate of running Amazon Aurora on a DB R3 2X large instance. Notice in the screenshot, the red rectangle shows the database engine chosen is Amazon Aurora. Notice the orange highlighted instance type is DB R3 2X large to compare equally with the SQL Server estimate. The storage size is 20 gigabyte to equally compare the pricing to SQL Server. Everything else was left at defaults. In the purple rectangle, you'll notice the estimate of your monthly bill is $15,250 $317.65. That would be an estimated annual cost of $183,811.80. That's a monthly savings of $3,639.92 and an annual savings of $43,679.04, equaling a 20% savings over SQL Server Enterprise. Now, let's take a look at the monthly estimate of running SQL Server Enterprise on a DB-R3 8X large instance. Notice in the screenshot, the red rectangle shows the database engine chosen is SQL Server Enterprise, and the only license option is included for this version. Notice the orange highlighted instance type, DB-R3 8X large. The storage size is 20 gigabyte, the smallest size for this type of database engine. Everything else was left at defaults. In the purple rectangle, you'll notice the estimate of your monthly bill is $29,500.78. That would be an estimated annual cost of $354,009.36. Now, let's look at the monthly estimate of running Amazon Aurora on a DB-R3 8X large instance. Notice in the screenshot, the red rectangle shows the database engine chosen is indeed Amazon Aurora. Notice the orange highlighted instance type, DB-R3 8X large, to compare with the SQL Server estimate equally. The storage size is 20 gigabytes to equally compare the pricing to SQL Server. Everything else was left at defaults. In the purple rectangle, you'll notice the estimate of your monthly bill is $18,043.32. That would be an estimated annual cost of $216,519.84. That's a monthly savings of $11,457.46 and an annual savings of $137,980.94, equaling a 39% savings over SQL Server Enterprise. That's quite a difference. This concludes Section 1.10, Amazon Aurora's Low Cost, and the 1.0 video, Amazon Aurora Overview. Coming up next is Section 2.0, Amazon Aurora's Architecture, in the next video. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something and enjoyed yourself as well. See you in the next video.